In this video, I want to speak to you exactly about how I take risks and why it's so important for you to take risks, not only in your business, but your personal life, with family, with friends. And I don't mean just like jumping off a cliff and taking some insane risk where you die. What I mean is taking a risk or a leap of faith into something that you believe has potential and will potentially benefit you, but you're scared, you're afraid. You fear that the action of taking that risk will just have immense repercussions, which in reality, there always may be that fear. But in this video, I want to explain to you why you feel fear, how you can actually overcome that fear and never succumb to it, and what you can practically do in your life and also your business so you can constantly progress and constantly grow. Because I am in the exact same position as you, and to this day, I still feel fear. I am also scared as well. For example, I was in university, right? And in university, I felt stability. I felt like this is like a career that I can eventually go into and have a stable job. But I realized that that job was not one that I wanted to be a part of. I didn't want to be a part of the medical industry, working as a doctor, working grueling hours for the outcome, for the result that you'd get as a doctor, some cash, helping people, obviously. And in my opinion, as bad as that sounds, it just didn't sound worth it because, and this is like sort of a side note, I don't believe in the medical system. I believe it's incredibly flawed, but I'll leave that for another video. But essentially, I have taken risks. I didn't drop out of university. Like honestly, I'm not one of those dropout millionaires. I'm not a millionaire yet, but besides the point, I will be there. In terms of university, I finished my degree and I didn't pursue my undergrad into medicine. And some other risks that I've taken is training Muay Thai. I mean, these I wouldn't even consider them like insane risks at all, but I have taken the leap of faith to fight, right? And in the future, I want to fight an amateur and possibly a pro. That would be pretty cool. And it's more so exciting. But let me sort of explain to you why I felt fear and why you may as well. So there are four main reasons, as you can see on the screen, and I've put like a little nice image here, which was generated by AI, and yeah, I think it's pretty cool. But essentially, these four reasons are quite interconnected, and I'll explain to you how they are. So the first one is you had previous fear. You had previous fear on taking action because maybe in the past you took some action and you actually, you did something about it. You took the jump, you took the leap of faith, but it didn't lead you to where you wanted to go. And so, why that previous experience has now evoked fear in you again is because you didn't know what to expect. Because from your previous expectations, you thought that it would be now met and as the same as the second time in which you take that leap of faith again, right? And so what that means is you don't know what to expect, but at the same time you do. What I mean by that is the first time you took action, you had a bad result. And so the second time you think that taking that same action will lead to the bad result. But again, the second thing that I want to tell you is that you don't know what to expect. You don't know that if you take the risk again, will it have the same outcome? And only God knows, right? But if you never take any action at all, then you'll never find out. And all you would know would be the same outcome, or what you would believe would be the same thing as what happened the first time, which was obviously failure, right? And so in taking that sort of route, by never taking action again, never taking risks again, you have by default always defaulted to failure. Because now that you understand that taking the first action led to failure, you're never even going to step foot onto the second action. And so you never really know how many more steps you are away from success because you never take the next step to reach there. Now, that sort of ties in with the second point. And the third point is what I previously mentioned before, which was me in university, right? I didn't know what I wanted to do, and so took university as a form of stability. And having that mindset, and I'll get into the exact biological and neurological reason why you have that sense of wanting stability in a moment. But essentially, when you always seek out for stability, you are going to have it. But in exchange for stability, you're taking out the upper or the larger return of what a higher risk decision would make. For example, gambling, right? It's a really bad example. But in gambling, the more money you put in, the more risk you take, the high potential of earning is what you have, right, in return. I'm not saying go gamble, but that's just an example of stability and why taking more risk would yield a higher return. And so people don't realize the potential of this one thing. Now, let me tell you what this one thing is, right? This one thing is the cost of inaction, right? And as you can see, it's this guy chasing for a potential business meeting, but it seems like he's late. Everybody's already there. People are already discussing business and are already making decisions, and wow, their faces are kind of cooked by AI. Apologize for that. But you can see he's missing out. He's chasing for them, but he's never actually reached them. And so whatever his day started like, it was maybe he missed his coffee and he was super tired and he fell asleep again. That's why he missed his meeting. But the cost of inaction is what you should be worrying about, right? The let's get back to the gambling analogy. I know it's a bad example, but when your friends are winning money, right? They gamble, they get some money, and you didn't gamble at that point, but they did and they got some return. That sense of FOMO, that cost of inaction, made you lose money. And again, I know it's about gambling, but they took that opportunity, they took that risk to possibly earn some more money. And what happened? Well, they got the win. Some days they might lose, but other times they might win as well. And so the same thing is with life. When you don't take action, when you fail to take action, you have by default wanted and have asked for failure. Because, and let me draw a little diagram, okay? I think a better example of this is, let me go over onto this space here, right? So let's go over here, right? So let's say this is you, okay? And you're sitting uncomfortably on a fence. You're sitting uncomfortably on this fence. And on the left side is the devil, right? And on the right side is God. Now, and I'm sorry about how morbid this image looks, but on the right side is God, on the left side is the devil. And God has asked you a question on, if you want to live a life of holiness, come onto the right side of the fence. But if you want to live a life of just disgusting behavior, right, a degenerate life, then go to the left side. But you have made the decision to just stay on the fence. And so what happens? What happens when you stay on the fence? Well, on the day of judgment, you make your final decision. And what happens is that now you've actually chosen to be with the devil because he owns the fence. Because by default, taking no action will result in failure, will result in degeneracy, and you will go nowhere. And so I hope that has made sense. And I believe that was a much better analogy than gambling. And so what can you do? Right, I've talked about a bit of a grim reality, but what can you actually do now? What is the solution that you can actually implement and use in your life and in your business? So let's talk about business. So, I mean, why do we even care about this in the first place? We kind of already discussed that. But again, it's about not taking no action, right? Taking no action would lead you to where I was 6 months ago. I was stuck in university. And, I could have, and I'm going to admit, I wasn't fully convinced about everything that I just said. I was still living in fear. I wanted stability. And so I finished my degree. And so if you're stuck in the exact same place as me or in the exact same position as yourself, you don't have to be there. And you don't have to be stuck in that position anymore. It's all of your decision, but it only takes the realization and the understanding of, this is what I want and this is who I am. The major part is, this is who I am, in order for you to do that. Because Why should you care? Well, the reality is that you're just going to live the same life. Nothing is going to change if nothing is going to change. And I'm always going to say that in almost every single video that is relevant to speak about. But here are some practical solutions for your business, right? So for your current situation right now, you're probably making some cash, maybe not a lot. I don't know, 5K, 10K, whatever you want, whatever you please. And so you're wanting all that money for yourself. You're wanting all of the piece of the pie, right? You don't want to share or allocate any of that at the cost of losing a couple grand for yourself. And so that's completely stupid, respectfully. That's completely stupid because if you're not sharing the piece of the pie, then you're wearing all the hats in your business and I guess in yourself as well. You think that you can supply and do everything yourself. And I mean, if you look at all the big businesses themselves, like, why do they have so many employees? Like, why do they have so many people that work for them? Well, because they now have leverage. They've leveraged their time with money, buying out people's time with money to then be more focused on more important tasks, managing groups of people who then actually do the physical tasks for you. So, for example, having a VA and having an appointment setter. I'll talk about yourself in a moment, but let's focus on VA. So, how you can hire a VA, and in the first place, why would you want to hire a VA? Well, a virtual assistant is literally someone who's your right hand man or gal, and they will do the miscellaneous tasks that will take you minutes or hours to do on a daily basis for at an extremely low cost, which is beneficial to them because their monthly wage is like $300, $500 per month. So it's unfortunately it's really bad. And so you'd be giving them the opportunity to earn more for their, I guess, for themselves and for their family. And how you can actually hire them is by using Upwork and Online Jobs PH. It's free, but the limit is that you have to obviously pay to get more applicants to pay for you. It's about $30 to $50 per month. And you only need it for about 1 month to hire a VA, and then after that, you can just cancel the membership. The next thing is that you want to hire someone who's hardworking because you want to take a process to interview people, all right? And they have to be English fluent. Don't settle for someone who's just a hard worker, but they're not fluent in English. It's going to be really difficult to work with them. Now, the final thing that I want to talk about with that, like the actual hiring process, is that you want to make sure that they have good technology access and also good internet and backup generators, because there'll be times where there are a lot of cyclones. Unfortunately, the Philippines experience a lot of like cyclones and storms, and so it's really important. Just a bit of insight for you guys, a bit of source is that it's difficult. I really respect how hard they work, and especially in their conditions. I mean, everyone across the world, I genuinely have a respect for them because they work extremely hard for just such good value, and they just provide such good value for our business, given the conditions that they're in. And so I genuinely respect, third party workers. So this is the pay that you generally give them. $5 to $7 is justified. You can always pay them more, and I always agree with, if you hire an A player into your team, like an A plus player, you should pay them what they're worth. And so, trying to keep your profit margin is great, but if they really do a good job for you and you don't pay them well, they might just leave for someone else within a month, 2 months, or a year. And paying someone well really brings in loyalty. And people always say loyalty can't be bought, but I still agree with that. And just having that financial incentive for them to continue working with you will also help with the loyalty aspect. Now, the final thing is creating an SOP. And if you want an SOP, just let me know, and I can send you over this template for you if you like. Just message me on Instagram. And essentially, you want to create an SOP which makes all the tasks really easy to manage. Like, for example, a daily checklist, quick links for them to access, client management, so how to manage speaking with clients, how to write scripts, how to pay our team, for example, paying our editing team, how to schedule videos, etc. So creating SOP in exactly what you would do and how you would do something, and just make a Loom video for that. Super, super easy. Or use Teller, which is what I'm using now to record this video. So the next thing is appointment setting. So appointment setters are pretty easy to find. The hard thing is just finding really good quality. So first of all, you want to set the expectation of having one call per day. And then now to actually hiring them, you can use school groups like this Discords, Facebook groups, Instagram, and recruitment agencies. Recruitment agencies are expensive. However, some of them do placements for free, like they place setters in your business for free. But they can be expensive as well, but they're much higher quality. The place that I like to find people like setters in is Instagram. So, for example, using a lead scraper like IG Growman or like Phantom Buster, scrape leads, look in their bio, and look at who put setter in their bio, and then you can just message those people and see what their current situation is, and then hop on a call, like a Zoom or a Google Meet, and interview them. And if you want a list of questions that you can use to actually interview these people, let me know, shoot me a message, and I can send over my setter interview worksheet or my setter interview questions. And finally, yourself. The biggest investment you can have is investing into yourself, not just financially, right? Not just in your skills, but just in your mind. And these first 2 points, right, I want to discuss is going to absolutely change your mind and your perspective on reality as a total. So the first thing is you want to reflect on your mindset and actually become the person who deserves success. Now, success is already yours, right? It's probably going to blow your mind. You are not chasing success. Success is already yours. You need to first, in your mind, believe and have the perspective of someone who is already successful. And as a result of someone who's already successful, the words that come out of your mouth, the actions that you take as a successful person will turn into matter, will turn into literal atoms, and will turn into your reality. But it all begins with your mindset, with believing in that you are success yourself. Because if you're constantly chasing that, if you're constantly chasing that person, you will never achieve it. Because that reality that you're chasing is a distant reality that you cannot even fathom being yours in the present. It's a future, right? And so if you don't even believe that you have that now, how are you going to take the action, and how are you going to even believe that it can be a reality of yours? Because if you're constantly chasing 20K months, 10K months, then that reality is going to be so far from what you can possibly conceive and think, because you're not that person who deserves or has solved that problem to earn 10 or 20K. You don't believe, or you don't have the thoughts that are congruent to someone who deserves that. And so changing your thoughts, first of all, and what that means is first believing that you already have it, that you already have the answers, and then you can look for the exact perspectives that you need if you don't have that, if you lack that right now. But first believing that you have that in the first place is where you want to start. Now, the next thing is you want to hack your basal ganglia. So basal ganglia is a portion of your brain, a segment of your brain which is responsible for your emotions, right? And it's responsible for your flight or fight mode. So when you're hunting for money, when you're trying to survive, you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're in survival mode. And so your thoughts and your actions will just be trying to make the next couple of dollars. And if you're completely broke, you're just trying to survive, right? You're trying to get to the next month. But being in that mode is what is preventing you from achieving success, is what is preventing you and is blocking you from having that success mindset, and it's putting you in a state of anxiety where you can't take action. You don't want to spend more money on business, on your business, in your mentors, into a team, because you're scared of losing that money. That money is literally the solution, most likely, after obviously you change your thoughts, to growing your business, to growing yourself, to investing in yourself and actually getting a mentor, because what you're trying to do now is surviving. And so that is preventing you from taking any action that will actually make a change. Your current state right now, the actions that you're taking, is putting you in the same position that you are, because you're just trying to survive and you're not trying to thrive, right? And so that's why you're stuck in the same position that you are. And I could go into this topic for days and days. I'm learning more about this as well. I will actually give you more practical advice on how you can shift your thoughts, your perspectives, your words and actions, and turn that into matter and turn that into reality, into another video. That's all I have for you today. Thank you.